Thank you for tuning in for Middle Ground, which is all about disagreeing.
No, it isn't. Okay, before I start, yes, I am on BitChute. I am already on BitChute. I've been on BitChute for over a year. It has been the first link in every low bar of every YouTube video I've made for over a year. I am no longer going to repeatedly commit any of this information to your comments. Please learn how to use your mouse. It is right there. It goes click. Right, here we go.
You said that women are misguided. We are not misguided. We do not need you to shepherd us.
Proceed with the shepherding. Season 6, Episode 7, Men's Rights vs. Feminism. Spoiler alert, this is false advertising. It's more like feminists blaming everything they don't like on men and their rights. Season 171, Episode 49.
Would you call yourself a feminist?
I would.
Yes, an intersectional feminist.
When you hear the phrase men's rights, what comes to mind?
Advocating for the human rights of man.
Aggression.
I start laughing.
I hope you're paying attention here, class. There will be a test about fascism. So, a men's rights advocate, as you can see, is someone who will associate and define a phrase by the words in it. Not by some kind of emotional Rorschach test, but by the constitution of the things being said. He is a fundamentalist, a radical fundamentalist of the basic tenets of language. Whereas feminists are far more liberal with their definitions and associations. Men's rights doesn't have to be men's rights. It could be green car, or tall flamingo, or drive through chemical wax, or colander full of eels, or an anomalously gibbous phase of Oberon, or a missing dactyl in an ancient Greek verse about a recipe for oatmeal, or Poseidon himself conducting a biannual resurrection of the ghost of Cthulhu, or an endless amount of lemmings, but no one are like Karina with a K. Yes, I am cranking out the requests right now. Or flocky knocking helpification, not as a ladder from earth to heaven, not as a witness to any creed, but simple service, simply given to his own kind in their common need. Or, of course, aggression. In Latin, furtan in Old Germanic, and ugh in chimp.
When you hear the word feminism, what comes to mind?
I think that it's unfortunately misguided.
Would you like an example of what he means by that? Because you've already heard it.
You said that women are misguided. We are not misguided.
That's not what he said. They asked him about feminism. He said it is misguided, and you have turned that it into a she. Star.she, all women. For the umpteenth time, people. Sing it from the towers with me. Carve it across the hills. Tattoo this shit onto each eyeball. Feminism is not women. You do not get to use these terms interchangeably and then get away with saying...
To me, feminism is fairness.
Okay, because it obviously doesn't mean fairness to you. It means women. As and when you fucking want it to. And that is not fair. It is capricious and it is selfish, and that is the opposite of fair. Misguided is by far the most charitable way of describing this. I would call it intellectually dishonest. Because you do it on purpose, even if you don't know you're doing it. In short, you are full of shit. That's your problem. Please keep it that way.
Can I get my men's rights activists in the left and my feminists on the right?
Yes, you can. Contrary to popular belief.
Step forward if this statement is true for you.
That was fun. We should do this again sometime.
So if you believe we're not equal, then that you're inferring that one would be greater than the other.
Well, so let me.
No, dear brother, let me. It's imply, not infer, by the way. And apples and oranges are not equal. They have different average masses, different rates of water retention, and subtly different flavours. One goes better with pork, the other goes better with duck. Does saying apples and oranges are not equal make me necessarily an apple supremacist or an orange supremacist? I'll go with apples to be safe. Apple man, not necessarily bad after all. Actually, write-in candidate, I'm a banana man. When Derek eats a $120,000 banana, an amazing transformation occurs. The atheist's nightmare. Fuck me, have you ever heard so many obscure references cluttered into one joke? More than 12 people got the whole thing. I need a vacation.
Children are not equal under the law. And it's not because we hate children, it's because we love them and we want to protect them.
This one is a bit of a klutz. Did I say clunge? I meant it. His analogy breaks down when you acknowledge, and he does go on to acknowledge, that it is in fact men who are unequal under the law. It is men who have fewer rights. Is that why we have laws to keep men away from their children and their fathers and their skin? Because we're trying to protect them? No, it's to protect anyone but them. So it is conceivable that a gender can be unequal under the law for naught but malicious reasons. That is the reality we live in. And the upside-down version of it is where the feminists live. You need to bear that in mind when you're talking to them, without, as you did, Derek, climbing into their upside-down world with them and making haphazard analogies that concede to their dogmatic view that it is women who have fewer rights. Okay, because it is not true, and you're supposed to know that it's not true. It seems you didn't have your wits about you and you just trod on a mine. Look.
I just hope you weren't comparing women to children.
No, dear. That makes no sense, since women are not the ones with fewer rights. You see, Derek? They went right ahead and snatched victimhood from the jaws of privilege, as they are wont to do. And now I'm left to clean up your mess, to wipe your splattered guts off the side of my tank. You wee scamp!
I mean, it was technically a comparison of women
Okay,
and children.
I don't need you to
suppose.
protect me. I just need you not to harm me.
Alrighty then. Good plan, m'lady. So we can do away with the Violence Against Women Act. Yes? I believe the whole frigging point of that manifesto of intolerance, that almanac of inegalitarian liberty-taking, is to protect women. And what's more, it's very possible that it is harming women in its ruthless attempt to protect them. You gave us 2 rules, and VAWA breaks both of those rules. Would you like it shut down as soon as possible, never again to see the light of day? Well, guess who you need to talk to about that? Guess whose wall you need to bang your head against? It starts with F. And when you're done with that, go and talk to those feral tribes in Afghanistan about their radical approach to protecting women. I honestly don't know which would be more challenging.
I see it in very unfortunate places, like when the young men or boys in my family, even from like toddler age, are told, you shouldn't be crying, boys don't cry. And what that turns into.
Next stop, upside down land.
And what that turns into, I see it when I'm in a bookstore and a guy who tries to get my number says, why y'all always gotta act like that? And he sincerely had this like cracking voice, like he was hurt, but it was an entitlement.
Upon exiting the plane, please ensure your gravity vest is fully inflated and your inverse pressure mask is fastened tightly. Remember, always help yourself before helping others.
And that's toxic masculinity. It's saying like, you don't realize how your behavior is harmful.
It's a simple process, you see. We discourage male toddlers from doing something. Then, when they grow up, we continue to discourage them from doing it. And, yeah, we pretty much just relentlessly ban them from doing things for their whole lives. And that's toxic masculinity. And we should ban it. Am I talking about crying or wanking? Both at the same time. All right, we've all had fun.
That woman could be your best friend. That, you know, like, so.
I don't think you
and
be friends
again,
with a woman, so.
Because you don't see us as equal, as you said before.
Or maybe it's because women are the ones forbidding him from crying. You just fucking proved it. Or it's maybe because when he expresses his most tender feelings to a woman, she makes fun of that gay croak in his voice and calls him toxic. Like he's an Amazonian fucking tree frog. With chemicals in the water. Again, Derek, mate, I am working overtime to try and cover your ass here. You're a recurring guest on this channel. Next time they ask you on, would you mind offering your seat to someone who has anything to say except rookie hot takes that keep blowing up in his face? Or would that defeat the whole point of what it says on your character sheet?
I think that men's rights activists are only men's rights activists as a response to women expressing that they want more equality.
may I respond to that with an expression? I want more equality. Does that make me a men's rights activist? That's not what you meant. I'm being playful with your ambiguous syntax, but I think I can correct what you're trying to say. When feminists say they want more equality, they are full of shit. They are doing that thing where they take enormous liberties with their definitions. As communists from upside down land, they want to rob from the poor and give to the rich and get away with calling it equality. It is very difficult to advocate for men's rights when that shit is going on all around you. Take tree planters. Tree planters are people who plant trees. Unless you're a feminist, in which case, aggression, why not? But the tree planters will understand. They want to plant trees. They don't want to spend their whole time arguing with the local council, but in practice that's mostly what they do because the local council won't let them plant any fucking trees. The local council are self-appointed as the only ones who can plant trees and decide where the trees go and what kind of trees they can be and how precisely they're going to trim them into the shape of a giant labia. So when tree planters come along trying to plant a tree in their own garden, the council says, no, fuck off, tree planter. All you ever do is argue with the council. Get out of my office, you subhuman scum. Next. But of course, this analogy of mine is not necessary if your country's government has a minister for women but no minister for men. You should already understand what I'm literally saying, right?
If I have to consider what I wear before stepping out the house because I don't want to draw some type of attention, I don't know how many other men have to consider, is this outfit going to be deemed safe for me?
God no, not me. I just throw on a microskirt and a bikini top and I stroll out of the house without care in the world. No one's going to give me any funny looks or unwanted attention. There's no way any builders are going to yell any unflattering things at me as I strut past them in my hot pants. And no one's going to lay a finger on me, let alone assault me. I mean, why on earth would they? The whole world definitely wants to see these hairy manfolds muffin-topping around each other, so every man knows instinctively that he can wander around in public wearing a pair of dishcloths and some high heels without so much as a fleeting fear of incident. And that's why they never do. This is absolutely a choice and a freedom that men have, but women don't. Yes, sirree, Bob. Sound fucking logic as always.
You're not entitled a conversation with me. You're not entitled to my number.
Oh, tragedy. When the feeling's gone and you can't go on, I will have to try and survive without your fucking number, darling. Say, am I entitled to human rights? Like the right to my children and my home and my job and whatnot? No, that's just aggression. No, that's just an attack on women and feminism. Gotcha. You guys have real problems.
If you have friends that are having locker room talk, as a man, as an ally, please say something to your friends.
Hey, friends, don't talk to each other in locker rooms. I realise it's the only tiny space left in society where half-naked straight men can be comfortable with each other, but it has to stop. All right, you're bonding or something without female supervision. It's just it's wrong. And do talk about your feelings, but not with other men. Only with women. Remember, you are a weak, dependent man, and you don't not need no woman. Like a cyclist needs a bicycle. Okay? Equality is complicated, so leave that shit to us.
If it's in a healthy male space...
There's nothing
I don't think that's
about
healthy.
that.
I think it's
No, I'm
toxic
not-
in itself.
I mean, if
And they say feminists don't care about men. By the way, don't let them get away with saying feminists create domestic violence services for men all the time, because this shit is what they mean. They bring in male victims and then they blame them for their victimhood. They are not services, they are correction facilities. If you're a man, you do not get accommodation, you do not get compensation, you just get stone-faced government officials telling you, I don't care what you say, there is nothing healthy about your male space, it is toxic.
If you're making jokes and you're doing all of that...
Jokes that are harmful jokes are not healthy.
He didn't say harmful jokes, he said jokes. Did you know there are some jokes that don't oppress women and sometimes men tell those jokes? And bitch, if you woman-interrupt this guy one more time, I'm going to deck you in a video game.
Only 1% of all people on the death row are women in this country. So when women and men commit identical crimes, women are much more likely to, for example, escape the death penalty. And that's just plain sex-based discrimination.
That I agree on.
That's true. Look,
It is true, yes, and you heard it from a men's rights advocate. Therefore, this
I don't think they focus on actual men's rights issues.
is not true. The feminists have the editors on their side, and they are still getting owned all over the shop because the editors have goldfish brains too, or they're just really lazy, or no editor in the world can make these feminists sound honest or consistent or humane.
I'm thinking about basic needs, like around the globe, the women who don't even have like proper like sanitary like products.
My face away. Yes, we were talking about men's lives, whether or not they get to go on living, in this country right here in which we're speaking. And since we're on the subject of those kinds of basic needs, some women live below the poverty line, like somewhere in the world. Unlike men, they just get murdered, lol. So, really, we both have important issues that need addressing, but still, I do laugh at your human rights. Tee.
Just small things like a tax on a box of tampons. Do you think I choose to do this monthly? No.
I don't choose to grow hair on my face. Does that mean Gillette should give me free shit? I don't choose to have my life taken by the state. I will never choose to have a child. Does that mean I should never have to pay for one? Notice how I slipped seamlessly there from first world problems to real problems. Here you go. In terms of taxes, the average woman is a net negative and the average man is a net positive. Does that mean I should never have to pay for a damn thing your skinny ass demands? Answers on a postcard. Soak that postcard in salt water and baking soda and shove that up your bleeding snatch.
I am all about human rights, and I do consider the rights of every human, but every time I hear of a men's rights activist, I hear anger and I hear very illogical reasoning.
I love human rights. I'm all about the human rights. But I do prefer hearing whatever I feel like hearing, so not men's rights.
And it just boils my blood because it's a setback for all of us.
If you have high blood pressure, consult your GP. Not your feminist. Your friendly neighborhood feminist is strictly in the business of making you more stressed. Okay? They have no idea how to go in the other direction. That's like getting dietary advice from a tub of lard being emptied into a storm drain.
I think a lot of times when a movement is created, the other side thinks that they're being attacked or think that it's some like attempt at erasure. That's not what feminism is about at all. What do you need a whole men's rights activism movement for? I'm sincerely confused.
I did not edit that. And again, whoever did evidently did not know how to edit this woman without making her contradict herself, presumably in every concurrent sentence. It must be. For your edit to fuck up this badly can only be because she is fucking up even worse, and that is astonishing to me.
Where I would like to think that we could get some common ground is when it comes to the clear biases that are in the court system, especially in the marriage and family court system, right? And right there is what I would advocate for when it comes to men's rights.
Another good point. Another one that actually relates to men as a class, not just cherry-picked men as individuals. It's what goes on in the court system. It involves laws, it involves rights, it involves humans, it involves human rights of classes, not just individuals. By definition.
The things that stand valid, like that I'm hearing from y'all.
That you're hearing, yes.
That I'm hearing from y'all that are like valid to me come from a place of like, I am treated like unfairly by the system versus a lot of the things women are saying.
Right, well, I'm sure that's what you're hearing, but as we established, you prefer to hear what you feel like hearing. What was in fact said, however, was categorically not what you heard. It was the opposite. At least the things you're hearing as valid are not the things being proposed as valid. You're now going to give us an example of you, a woman, talking about actual class issues and not just your individual anecdotes. Is that right?
It's also America in the system as well, but a lot of it is like harm from men.
How and where?
How and where what?
Where's this harm from men coming from?
Are you sitting comfortably, ladies and gentlemen?
Okay, it started when I was young. I'm not going to talk too long.
X.
I was 16, got a bottle thrown at me because I told a boy no. The system. It started when I was in a club, a boy touched me, I said no, he kept touching me, it got to the point he got violent. It gets to the point that the only reason why a man decided to stop touching me in the bookstore I talked about earlier is because he realized my husband was not too far away. And he said, sorry, bro. Never said sorry to me. I am treated like unfairly by the system. That's why, and that's off the top of my head. This is why I get upset, because I'm like, I'm here to talk about like violent men, but when you just
Advocating for the human rights of man.
that's when it seems like it's about more than violent men. It seems like it's about your ego, and that's where I get me. Stop touching me. I never said sorry to me.
So when women and men commit identical crimes, women are much more likely to, for example, escape the death penalty.
To the clear biases that are in the court system, especially in the marriage and family court system.
How dare you tell another human being that their experiences, what they're telling you right in front of your face, is not valid?
I didn't say they were invalid. I said how and why. I'm trying to understand.
How and why?
listen.
Because it happened. It happened many times.
How awful. Well, the family courts have happened many times more. The criminal courts have happened many times more. These things happen as a systematic matter of course, and they happen to millions of people, mostly men. These things are more important than your poxy anecdotes, even if they are remotely accurate descriptions of things that even happened. The law is definitely happening. And you know, one of the things the law does, it arrests and prosecutes those allegedly violent men if and when you choose to press charges. So given that the thing you're complaining about is already illegal, what exactly the fuck do you expect us to do about it? Make it super duper illegal? Because I think that's exactly what Me Too is already doing. Now what? Big super duper double decker illegal with go faster stripes? Yes, we understand now. You have occasionally in your life encountered men who broke the law trying to fuck you. No, really, cool story, bro. 10 out of 10 with Fap 2 again. And because of this personal gripe you have with some men but mysteriously no women, you would like to make men's lives more difficult. You would like to make men's lives even more of a legal minefield. Well, men's rights advocates would like to make men's lives less of a legal minefield. So no, we are never going to find any fucking middle ground. Because this, underneath the lies and the delusions and the just being full of shit, this is what feminism is. It is an anti-men's rights movement. Feminism is not women's rights. Women's rights is women's rights. Feminism is women's rights plus. It is what you get when you take both dictionary definitions of feminism and combine them into the same logic. It is organised activity on behalf of women's rights and interests on the grounds that organised activity on the behalf of women's rights and interests is the one and only theory of the equality of the sexes. It is supremacy, ladies and gentlemen. When you combine the theory and the practice, you get an ideology of supremacy. And as Queen Jess has stated,
but they don't realise that equality isn't just about pushing someone forward, it's also about pushing some people back.
Yes.
Yes. It's rarefied moments of hubristic honesty like this which give us brief glimpses into the truth. Underneath upside down land, or above it, as it weren't. $1 million question, feminists. Why are you a feminist and not just a women's rights advocate? If you're struggling to think of an ethically defensible answer, it's because Jess Phillips just told you the only answer you can think of. You are not just pro-women's rights. You are necessarily, by definition, the dictionary's amalgamated definition and your own deep-down, dead honest definition. You are anti-men's rights. And I don't mean your anti-green car. I don't mean your anti-aggression. I mean the literal definitions of the words men's rights. You are opposed to the human rights of men and any advocacy for them. You may even be more interested in taking men's rights away than you are in granting more rights to women. Nevertheless, your excuse and your justification will always be because women need it. Because women need to be protected. Unless you are in the process of lecturing someone about not protecting you. In which case we take off into your hyperspace fucking Candyland, where anything and everything is possible. I am not doing this anymore. The video, I mean. Link in the low bar as usual, so please feel free to watch the whole thing if you do not value healthy blood pressure. And if you want an inside perspective, you can listen to an interview with Kursat, one of the gentlemen from this video, over at Honey Badger Radio. Yes, as usual, my crew is a couple of steps ahead of me on this one. Oh, and bonus on top of bonus, you can even listen to Kursat's personal recording of the full, unedited 2-hour conversation that took place between these 6 people. If you have the stomach to listen to all the insane feminist hysteria that conveniently got cut out of the final edit, or indeed any of these sensible men's rights points that probably never even got cut in the first place. Right now, I can't even take the watered-down version. I need a shower. I need a brain shower. And I need a meteor shower. No, I don't. No. The meteor is not the answer, unless you're joking. But at some point, we need to move beyond a joke. All right, over and out. Goodbye and fuck right, as you might say. And I have nothing to say on the subject of pornography, but religion is not speech.